lot more. Join us every step of the way this afternoon as we look back on another night of European football where the UEFA Nations League will return with some thrilling fixtures. And it continues lead us now. We'll read out the fixtures for you. And of course, we'll get talking a bit. 090-222-3101, 027 624565, 090-222-3101, 027 624565. And of course, you can also head to Facebook and be a part of the conversation from there as well. Drop your comments as much as you can. And of course, we're here to take them. My name is Ryan James, and to find out today, we're back here alongside Marius and Isaac, officially, of course, Solorex. Well, I'm sure his fingers are crossed like that, but it's Solomon Akpabio for real. Flo should be here too, and of course we'll try to make sense of the football stories we have it from different parts of the world. Welcome officially, guys. Now, I asked Mari about this in the morning, whether or not the defeats should set their alarm bells ringing. Mari had his reply, so I'll be in a conversation with Celerex here this afternoon. What's your perspective of the game, and what do you make of Jose Pizarro's stats? Starts as Super Eagles manager, losing his first two games. Is it something the fans should worry about? Or, well, it's just one of those things that happens in football.
Absolutely, Bright. For me, the fans shouldn't be worried about this particular one. Considering the fact, what happened against Austin Gabon at the Nations Cup. He won his first two games, and when it was, when we needed that particular win to go around against Ghana, in that particular, we didn't have a win. So for me, we shouldn't get carried away by this particular one. It's just starting two games, but I've noticed improvements in that particular game, in terms of corners, everything. We're dominating that particular one, but I still feel, the performance didn't reflect the scoreline in that particular one, but Bright is a gradual process. We need to give Jose Pizarro time. We can't just, expect him to turn things around. He made this team, being depleted, so he's trying to build a team, but I still feel he needs to give, the home Eagles, time to perform as well. Victor Mbama, you said, just played just 5 minutes of that particular encounter, so it's still a rebuilding process. So to take a gradual process for us to get there. So let's give Pizarro time, Bright.
Right now, Mari, not many I know about Ecuador, and of course, what they've achieved. Well, many say they're little known in terms of football and the rankings. So the Super Eagles that should have been an easy meal for us. Not many know that Ecuador, in the latest FIFA rankings, are the 12th best team in the world, according to the latest FIFA rankings, and one of the teams from South America to qualify for the World Cup for later this particular year in Qatar. And Mexico, we played before, are inside the top 10. They're ranked 9th, the latest FIFA rankings, and garnering a total of 1,659 points, just behind Portugal in 8 spots and 1 place ahead of Denmark, who are 10th, or Netherlands rather, who are 10th, and Denmark, who are 11th. So we faced teams ranked way higher, inside the top 12 in the world. Well, in Jose Pizarro's first two games, was the result shocking for you?
Right, I don't think so. Like you said, first up, let's take a look at the opponents. Mexico are the 9th best team in the world. Ecuador are the 12th best team. Ecuador are the 6th best team in South America. Behind likes of Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Chile, and then it clearly shows you that the opponents were, tough opponents. And then we're talking about, a new dispensation, a new coach, and then this is just his first two games in charge of the club. So the country, national team rather. So there's so much to be expected, in the coming days. And then, like I said in the morning, we should not read any meaning to the results of these two games. Moreover, there have been so much positives to take, especially from the game against Ecuador early this morning. I mean, first up, I saw the boys create chances. They played like a team that I would love to see. They played possession-based football. Beautiful, fantastic football. They were not just clinical in the final third, but I believe that that's a positive, that we can actually play beautiful football and score goals. The only thing he should do right now, talking about Pizarro, is to try to patch up that defensive frailty and make sure that the boys score goals, but they play well.
Now, let's break it down, Solorix, so maybe fans would understand and get the feeling of what the team has been up against and how the team performed in the face of very, daunting and, of course, massive demands from the fans and, of course, new technical setup. How do you assess Frank Zozoho, who's returned to the national team following what happened against Ghana the national team in Abuja. We've seen him play against Mexico and against Ecuador early as of this morning.
Right, first off, his performance was fantastic. We keep on, looking at Francisco as one of the best, goalkeepers these Super Eagles, team have. Go back to the World Cup, when he was 19, then I don't know what's the age now. He's still a fantastic player, but I still feel we need to give him time because we get to see when Uzor doesn't play, then Maduka comes in, then Agbeyi comes in. We keep on shoveling this set of goalkeepers, so we really get the best out of each of them. So I feel Pissarro coming in with for me, that's a statement of intent that he wants Uzor to be his number one, playing back-to-back games. Fine, for me that side is settled. But I still feel you need to talk to his defense line as well. Yesterday it was there was no communication between Awazim and the goalkeeper as well, because that was how he considered the first. We need to communicate with the defenders, to leave the ball out, get it or something of that nature. But Uzor for me is putting on a fine shift. He's the perfect man to start games.
Right, talk about Francis Uzor. Discussed about this in the morning. At the end of the day, would criticize him for not being very good. But, I mean, his poor form lately, the kind of goals he conceded have been down to our poor defense. I mean, look at the goal we conceded yesterday against Ecuador in the second minute. It was, the free kick, the through ball in, and then Chidozie Awaziem and Sani Faisal should have done justice to that ball coming in. But they were left ball watching, they were sleeping, on duty, and Esopinian just came in between both of them and scored that goal. So I think if we can patch up that defense, would ease the talk of our poor goalkeepers. Maybe these goalkeepers are doing very well, but the defenders are not helping them. Look at the first game against Mexico. Econ scored a new goal. So we have to look at that right critically and see that that defense have contributed to the criticism that the goalkeepers are not good.
Now, very quickly before you come in, Solorix, now still talk about that defense line. What do you make of Chidozie Awaziem's return to the national team right back over the course of these two games?
Right, I feel it's 4 over 10 for me. He doesn't look that sharp. We knew him during the 2019 AFCON was very sharp coming in. He looks very dull, so he needs to do some workings in the training session to make sure he get back to his normal standard for me. But I feel why we are considering this goal is because our defensive midfielder is not in the party. Talking of Wilfred Ndidi, to stop those kind of balls. So I feel we are missing Ndidi, and we are yet to find a replacement that can match up the standard of what Wilfred Ndidi brings into the team as well. So that's another aspect that Jose Pissarro needs to see if he can get the likes of Innocent Bonke and not forgetting Frank Onyeka to see if they can come out clutch in that particular place.
Mari, very quickly, we haven't seen Kenneth Omero play in this window. We haven't seen Leon Balogun play, but we've seen a new partnership. Semi Logo Ajayi, his partner, William Trustekong, at the heart of that defense over the course of the two international friendlies. What do you make of that partnership? And talk to us very, very quickly as to what will be the future for the man who plays club football, Rangers, Calvin Bassett, left back. What do you make of how he's settling into the national team going forward?
Right, good stuff. First up, talk about the partnership in the first game against Mexico. Semi Ajayi against William Trustekong. Clearly, it showed that this was the first time the players are playing together, so there was a miscommunication, a few times in the game. There were cases of, lack of synergy, and then more like clash of duties, because normally one is supposed to sit back and the other is supposed to do the dirty job. So most times both of them were caught doing the dirty job. Most times both of them were caught sitting back, and then Bonke at the number 4 position, they didn't help as well. So I think first up, I talked about this last week. Pissarro should look for a way to create a playing identity, a structure with the team. Let's start from creating a structure. If you can have a playing identity, a playing structure, it will be easy for each player to know his role in the team. It will be easy for each player to be able to carry out his role. And then that brings me to, Calvin Bassey. He's a fantastic left back, but there's a way he can be used and he won't be effective for the team. So Pissarro's job, first of all, for me, should be to create a playing identity. That way, he'll be able to sieve out the players that would fit into the identity. The players that fit best into that structure, that playing framework, and then from there we'll try to develop synergy. So I think it starts from getting an identity, getting players that fit into that identity, and then from there we might have a good team. But as I said yesterday, this morning they played a fantastic game against Ecuador. They were not just lucky enough to get goals in, but they're fantastic, missed a few chances. But I believe if there can be a playing structure and identity, something consistent, we might see beautiful stuff from the boys.
All right, now the back in Abuja after these two international friendlies, and we'll be looking to advanced by almost quickly when they'll be playing in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. So join the conversation and note Destin Simon 090-222-3101-027-624-565. Well, in case you missed the news, Scotland Daisy will let bring up to speed with the teams Nigeria will be facing in the World Cup or Nations Cup qualifiers. I beg your pardon. So a quick stop. CAF kicked off Mauritius, and now Sao Tome and Principe take their place. All right, so that means Sao Tome joined the Super Eagles in Group A of the African qualifiers alongside Guinea-Bissau and Sierra Leone. In the earlier fixtures, Mauritius were already lined up to start their campaign with an away game against Guinea-Bissau at the Stade Adra on June 5th. Now, the second fixture was to see them host Super Eagles at the National Sports Complex Beach on June 13th. Now, but we understand on Sunday, Nigeria under Jose Pizarro suffered defeats, and of course, when they return here to Nigeria, begin their campaign with a home game against Sierra Leone at the Abuja National Stadium on June 9th, and we'll talk about the journey going forward. Well, Mario, very quickly before the fans jump on the show, well, in the first game against Mexico, we quite had it, some of the home lads getting a running, Nigerian-based players getting a running in that particular game. But the game early hours of this one looked a lot more tactical, and there were very few subs. In fact, 3. Chirizia was off for the man. Talk about Allah Aina coming in. Faisal got off for Emmanuel Dennis, and of course up front we had Terry Murphy going off as well in that particular game. But on a whole, what do you make of the local lads and the impression of Jose Pizarro?
Right. First off, I might not be able to tell, Pizarro's impression. I can only tell you my own impression of the boys. And I think, they've put off a good shift. Not too impressive, but a good shift. You talk about Ishakra, Victor Mbauma. For Sani, for me, has...
Mbauma came in for Terry Murphy.
Yeah, Terry Murphy, exactly. You talk for Sani, who played as well. That game was not completely impressive for me because he had a chance to start as a defensive midfield since Innocent Bonke was out injured too. I believe he should have done a lot better, but he was caught napping a few times in the game, and it's understandable because it's not easy playing for your national team, so he's still basking in that euphoria. But I believe that the boys put up a fantastic shift, and they did very, very well the ones that were given a chance, to play. And like I said, I cannot give you Pizarro's impression, but I believe that they might have impressed Pizarro, and a few of them might get called up regularly. And then, thankfully, we've got two more games, to go in the African qualifiers. First against Sierra Leone, next against Sao Tome and Principe. So we might still see them, play a couple of more games of bright. There needs to be a structure. If there's a structure, it'll be easier, to get players based on the identities that you've outlined in the structure. So I'd love to see that in the team. That's the only way we can move forward.
Right, now we'll get talking, and I would listen to Jose Pizarro talking about the changes he made in the first game against Mexico, and of course the kind of football he would like to see from the Eagles and the lads going forward. What did you make of the 2 international friendlies? The defeats, they're enough to set the alarm bells ringing. Well, it's all part of the process, settling in, getting to understand the players, and of course going forward. It's normal. Let's get talking. Hello, good afternoon, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Hello, Black and Sports crew. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Top Gunner, for joining us.
Brett, Super Eagles wars continue. They have disappointed the fans. After exit from the World Cup party, losing 2 matches back-to-back in USA Bright, it has entered the scorecard of the new coach. I don't need to blame him now. But he's the first coach to lose 2 matches in new entry. Brett, Ekon didn't play well. He was poor in that. There was poorness in the attack because the attackers are not getting the passes. These guys kept me late night to watch the ball. There's no cohesion in the team, no team leader. The quarter team Brett are more physical. Then this guy Dennis, he's afraid of leg. This is not very Tina that I know in what court play. Super Eagles will keep on losing the match if they do not do their homework. I disagree with Amodu Pinnick. He has come out with his book story that the 2 players in the Super Eagles didn't play. So Eagles cannot play without the likes of Ndidi and Bright and Nigerian poster ball. Thank you for having me, Top Gunner.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation this afternoon. Well, Emmanuel Dennis. A cameo appearance many seeing that second half. Welcome, football fan, name and location. Good to have you join us.
Hello, Bright. Good afternoon. My name is Nelson. I'm calling for you.
Yeah, Nelson, go ahead, talk to us.
Thank you very much indeed. Bright, if you recall, I have never supported the acquisition of Zero. I knew that man doesn't have the technical service to make a difference. 2 matches in the saddle, 2 losses are bad enough to conclude that Ecuador was unfairly treated. At the Nations Cup, Ecuador won all the group matches. Only that when we met Tunisia, as I said some time ago, Tunisia brought out the best out of Europe. But the best, in my opinion, was not good enough.
Nelson.
Ecuador is a fantastic manager. Let's wait and see that the new manager will take the Nigerian team to that El Dorado. Thank you very much.
Right. Well, I thought we could have a conversation for a bit. Well, thank you all the same for joining. We appreciate you. Welcome, football fan, name and location. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, Bright.
Thank you for joining, Agent.
This is Agent Dick. Mr. Bright, I think Jose Pesero, though I'm not going to blame him because he just inherited a team that was selected for him by the NFF and interim technical advisors at that time. But I think we want him to at least do something to reform these clueless Super Eagles that we have.
Well, when Agent, when you use the word clueless, what exactly is the intentment of such a word?
Brent, they are not biting at all. This is not the kind of this hero that should represent a country over 250 million people. Nigeria is very big, and we have about 10 players in each position all over the country, if we want to select it. So, Bright, if you look at Brazil, even if they are playing a team like Somalia, Bright, they will beat you 6-0, and they will still maintain that color flag. But look, if you see these Super Eagles, anytime they are called to represent the color, they will not represent us well. They will be strolling in that pitch. To me, I feel that it would have been pertinent for us to carry MPFL players who are hungry, who have enthusiasm to at least to impress,
Agent,
to represent the country.
Agent.
Okay, yes.
A positive result against Mexico and against Ecuador, would it have changed your perspective of the team and the attitude?
Yes, right. What in essence, at least you played against Mexico and you lost. At least you would have expected a draw with Ecuador, or at least win Ecuador. At least to reset.
What is the premium? Win friendlies and lose in crucial games, or lose here, make the mistakes, correct them. When you get to the business end of it, you correct them and get the perfect results. What would you prefer?
Oh, Bright, you know what we call winning mentality. If you are not approaching a competitive game with a winning mentality, Bright, how are you going to win a match? At least you need to win, and have that winning mentality. And the opponents will know that these guys, they just came out from winning, and they have that winning mentality.
All right, agents.
They played 2 matches, they cannot win, they couldn't win, and you are expecting them to play Sierra Leone, who are camping in Guinea, in Conakry, waiting for them, so they will fly into the country and to confront them.
All right, your thought to appreciate. Thank you very much, Agent, for joining the conversation. We appreciate you. We'll talk more with the fans. Welcome, football fan, name and location. Yeah, Victor, the Sport Oracle.
Brian James, let me say that it's really a great time, Brian James. It's a talking point now because we are not really happy for what is happening with the Nigerian Super Eagles, Brian James. They do out think that under the new Joseph Pacero is not that nice. So I imagine myself the box of players that we have in the Super Eagles. You hear that they have been creating chances. None of them could be able to score a goal, Brian James. So as a result of the kind of formation that the NFF has been bringing to our football, let me advise that football has not been played this way before. So if the NFF needs a way forward, they must do their best for them to allow the good coach and get good players to stay here and do a job for us. That's my take. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Victor, for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, good afternoon, Brad James.
Yeah, Manzio.
Yeah, Manzio calling from Uyo. Brad James, the situation is so sad with the Super Eagles. You go out 2 loss. Coach Austin Eguavon play 6 matches, 3 wins, 1 loss, then 2 draws. We still clamor for him to be tapped. Maybe I don't have anything to say. I do not wish Super Eagles should not lose to Sierra Leone, because if they lose that match, it's going to be very shameful. That's my take on it. I just want to wish them the best of their luck on the 9th. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. All right, drop call situation. Keep it coming. Well, we are waiting for the calls. Welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Bright.
Can you walk away from your radio sets, please?
All right, thank you. This is Mr. Promise on the line.
All right.
Please, I just want to contribute about the Super Eagles. The Super Eagles should go back to the grassroots and brought new players. We should not believe on these big names. And NFL should remove their hand in coaches' lineup. They should allow the coaches to choose somebody that he can do, so that we can make a slot. Nigerian Super Eagles have been going down for many years now. We don't achieve anything. We should go back and renew our grassroots clubs so that we can have good players. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, Bright.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. This is Dominic from Delaware.
Right, go ahead, Dominic. Talk to us.
Right. Thank you very much. Right, from the little knowledge I have, I know that we have two types of criticism. One, they call it constructive, and the other one, they call it destructive. I think it is not a matter of I'm a Nigerian, and I want the Nigerian to be in the aim of affairs for the Super Eagles. I think it is the right time for us to start criticizing destructively. I think it is not, because ever since this man arrived, just a few days ago, then picked the team inherited from the Nigerians, then I don't think that is the man in the doghouse, perhaps. Then if at all we want to consider, are we considering Ecuador as a less fancy side in terms of football? I think Ecuador in recent days have proved to be a very stubborn side in America, which they posted a threat to the likes of Argentina, the likes of Brazil, and others. So I think this is not the right time. If at all we fail to make it in the friendly match, I think we should be appreciated, because in recent years, even during Ross, we've made a fine performance in a friendly match. But when it comes to men's competition, we sometimes fail woefully. But all of a sudden, it is not that I'm backing Joseph Bizarro too much, but I want Nigerians just to have a positive thing for how the man would have survived.
All right, Dominic.
Because he always criticize and then take and compare with the Ecuadorians there.
All right, points made.
I felt, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining. Comrade Sylvester,
right.
welcome.
Afternoon, yeah. I think I would want to advise our fans in Nigeria that they should have a little patience. You see, it is not a free match that we would expect to win. Even a novelty match, we would say we should win. This man just came in. He doesn't even know even the names of those players. He's experimenting. I think some of these players would play, that he would assemble a good team. Now we are comparing a performance that we say he didn't know water. Small time now we will go back to Kerry. I think we should have patience. We don't talk on football as if it is politics. So everything I hear talking as if it's a politics, we must win, and those things. We should have patience. This man has not known most of these players' names. He would just pick them as a player. Thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade, for joining. We'll take one more. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Hello. You're here now, but you're not saying anything. All right, so that's 10 seconds. You chant another. We'll take in now. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Good morning, Mr. Bright.
Thank you for joining us.
And yes, I'm coming from you.
All right, go ahead. Talk to us.
I think our problem is that we are not consistent and we don't value ourselves. People used to say, "Oh, you're making no focus for them." To me, I think the combination of Ecuador and Amunike was the best for Nigeria. Because when you look at the pedigree of the Canadian coach, the Hilton that is what the Premier League and the other person with Dortmund, those people, they play draw. The way they with attacking these people as if they don't do anything. Now look at this one because that we got it. They have played too much and they have lost too. So I think we should go back and look at Senegal. They had patience by staying with their indigenous coach. Look at what that. So I don't believe in foreign coach. I believe in Nigerian coaches. So let NFL go back into a Nigerian coach and develop ourselves. Thank you.
All right, so now you're saying we should sack Pizarro and go back to Ecuador.
Let us go back to Dominique and Ecuador.
Wow. This is going to be a very bumpy road. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, my brother. My name is Wisdom Jim, the handsome boy from Modo. I want to react on the last caller that said that we should have patience. My brother, we cannot continue to look for faith, look for the second time, look for the third time. Then we continue to have patience. Let the folks sit down and look for these our local players. In the last match that we
handsome boy, handsome boy, you're winning this friendlies. Where do they take you to?
I'm not hearing you.
Well, when you win the friendlies, what do you get for winning the friendlies against Ecuador, against Mexico?
You don't get anything for winning the friendly match, but I think we should win the match so that we know that the next match that we will get something. We have confidence. I think we have players. That friendly match is just to test our players. But we should know that those players are not fit enough to play the match that will give us something. We have some players in this country that we can defeat. Instead of just telling the players that we will give them some little chance in their pocket. Please.
Thank you very much for joining. Well, Mari looks like, patience will be very key. Now, a lot of people don't know that was Ecuador's first win in 7 games. 7. Started the qualifying series quite brightly, but haven't picked up a win in their last 6. The last 5 drew 4 at home, including a draw against Argentina, lost against Chile by 2-0. But now picked up a win against Nigeria. I've always asked the question, it's a difficult country to coach because it looks like every single person has an idea as to how the football should be played, who should be invited.
Yeah, everybody's a coach over here.
How the team should be coached and then how everything should be run. But here we are.
Well, right, first off, it's shocking, that, we're doing this. The truth is, bulk of this, football fans don't understand the fact that Mexico and Ecuador are very strong teams. Let's look at the world rankings. Mexico are 9th in the world, Ecuador are 12th in the world. So they didn't go there by joking. They're actually a very strong team, national team. We're 33 in FIFA world rankings. So what was the expectation? Defeat them on the platter? It's not possible. It doesn't work that way. It's football. You understand? Moreover, we're talking about a new coach coming in. You don't expect him to hit the ground running. It doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't. I mean, you talk about the best of the best coaches. They don't just come in and then boom, they're on a 25-game winning streak. It doesn't happen. It takes time to build, structures, modalities in place. We're talking synergy. Pizarro is still, you listen to his English language, and then he's still struggling a little bit. So that might be another barrier. We're not even talking about that one. So first up, we're talking tactics. We're talking the football right now. It's going to take a while. So let's just keep calm. You understand? Maybe we might begin to, assess his performance, after the AFCON qualifiers. We all know under Rob, we used to qualify with games in hand without using calculators. And then let's see if you keep that standard before we talk about him. I mean, how would you want to say he's not good enough after 2 friendly games? Let's calm down, please. Let's calm down.
I just like the fact that you accepted that Mexico and Ecuador are strong teams in South American football as well.
Mexico is in North America. Ecuador is in South America. Yeah, for a fact. Let's just settle that fact first. Yeah, then you can continue.
Like what happened yesterday.
No, so
Really? Are we still having this conversation?
All right, now
We shouldn't, please. We shouldn't.
Let's hit the brakes here very quickly and leave Maris Europeans. And now, when we return, we'll be talking about football from that climb, the UEFA Nations League, looking back at the night, the results, to look at the fixtures, and of course, the journey of the transfer window so far. Stay right here with us. So right back at you. Many thanks for joining us. Now, let's look back on a night of football beyond Europe. Let's look at first up the continent of Africa and how it panned out from here before Mari takes us to Europe. The African Nations Cup qualifiers, Tunisia spanked Equatorial Guinea by 4-0. Elsewhere was the story of Mozambique sharing its balls with Rwanda in a 1-1 draw from Group L. Now let's look at some friendlies wrapped up this morning. Ecuador 1, Nigeria 0. Mexico were well beaten by Uruguay by 3-0 in a game we had Edison Cavani scoring twice and Matthew Vecino opening scoring for the Uruguayans in the 35th minute of that particular encounter. I'll tell you about the story of the fixtures as it stands and in a bit. But now, from Group H, the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, Comoros are leading Lesotho with 79 minutes of action. It's Lesotho 0, Comoros Island 1. So the hosts are leading by 8 p.m. Ivory Coast hosts Zambia in that particular group as well. From Group B, Togo play Eswatini by 5 p.m. while Burkina Faso host Cape Verde by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Mari, let's look back at United Europe, the UEFA Nations League very quickly.
Matchups went down yesterday. It has to be, first up about Spain came on one against Portugal. It was an interesting matchup. Alvaro Morata always comes up good for the Spanish national team. He scored yesterday for them in the first half. But Ricardo Horta, the man who plays club football in Portugal, his hometown, equalized for the Portuguese yesterday to draw level in that particular one. The man Ronaldo was on the bench, in that particular game. I mean, he was just on the sidelines trying to back instructions, same way Fernando Santos, the Portuguese national coach, was doing.
He came up, exchanging his shirts with Pau Torres. I think he's kind of trying to do a kind of business with Pau Torres also.
Maybe that's agent Cristiano doing stuff because we know that
Cristiano is a player, nothing more.
Well, we know the Rudiger's contributions to Kai Havertz and Werner joining Chelsea. So maybe he wants to do that agent Cristiano thing.
No, well, that's a German connection. Now we're talking Portugal and Spain.
No, maybe.
Cristiano Ronaldo once played in Spain, so he has a connection. Yeah,
yeah.
So
There's this thing. He can speak the language. So, Ons de la Cruz. That's by the way, right? But Czech Republic defeated. Yes, I'm trying to check now. All right, so Czech defeated Switzerland 2-1 yesterday. Albania, the game between Albania and Russia was cancelled, and we know why. Of course, Israel, by the way, played 2-2 against Iceland. Norway defeated Serbia by a goal to nil. Erling Braut Haaland, integral part of that team yesterday that defeated Serbia by a goal to nil. Sweden were 2-0 winners over Slovenia by, of course, Cyprus lost to Kosovo 2-0. Greece defeated North Ireland by a goal to nil. Bulgaria 1-1 against North Macedonia. Georgia 4-0 against Gibraltar. Estonia 2-0 against San Marino. The rest were on the 21 games.
All right, now we're already up and running. 3 minutes to halftime in the League C Group 3 UEFA Nations League game between Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. It's 0-0. Well, still from that particular group, we're expecting Belarus to play Slovakia by 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. Group League D Group 1, Latvia, Andorra, Liechtenstein, Moldova. And of course, the rest of the fixtures, mark where they were. League A Group 1, Croatia taking Austria, France taking Denmark, 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. Same time, Belgium are taking Netherlands in League A Group 4. Blockbuster clashes. Massive story coming from Spain, Flo, as you join the conversation now. Brazilian legend Delima Ronaldo will cycle more than 500 kilometers in 4 days in the Spanish city of Santiago de Compostela to fulfill this promise. The promise he made a couple of days ago, saying if his club Real Valladolid get promotion, he would cycle that distance. Now, Valladolid clinched automatic promotion to Spain's top flight in their first attempt last weekend. Ronaldo became Valladolid's majority shareholder in 2018. As revealed, he would do the pilgrimage route from Valladolid to Santiago. The culmination of the Camino de Santiago, the way of St. James, in 5 stages. But he's not doing that alone, in company of his wife, Celine. Neymar is taking Adiga's club mate, Argentine keeper Lionel Messi, is mocking them for cup celebration. Saying why celebrate as though you won the World Cup? It's only a la finalissima. I said where you only won Italy and not and nothing more. The celebrations. You think it was a little overboard, Flo?
Bright, no, of course. I mean, whatever little feat you achieve in life, I believe it's worth celebrating. Coupled with the fact of a kind of bad season that Messi almost had, and he had to lead the team to that particular victory. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I think
we're talking about Neymar here.
Yes,
party boy. If Brazil won that trophy, Neymar throw 7 parties in the next 1 week, 7 different parties, and then you bring in PSG players, bring in everybody, probably invite me as well.
For a moment, Philo, if my eyes were closed and then, maybe my ears closed and then the words just, simmering like that, I would take you for a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. Flo was prime.
Celebrate small wins.
Yeah, small wins. Yeah, you have to celebrate yourself.
Celebrate small greens.
All right, now let's look at more football stories. And this must be heartwarming for Eric Ten Hag. Now we understand, according to Cristiano Solorex, he said he's committed to staying at Manchester United next season, and he's pretty confident that the club will win trophies under new manager Eric Ten Hag. United, season just gone by, endured their worst season in the Premier League history with their lowest point tally of 58 in the competition's era, and failed to qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League. Well, there were talks about uncertainty surrounding Ronaldo's future beyond Ten Hag coming in. Well, he's called Mr. Champions League, but he can't be named Mr. Champions League while playing in the Europa League. So there were concerns about whether or not he would abandon Manchester United and go in search of green, where he would play Champions League football. But now he said he's committed to the United project. Must be heartwarming.
Absolutely, Bright. Cristiano Ronaldo is a Red, and he'll always be a Red. No manager under this planet Earth who wants to work with Mr. Champions League. Talking of Cristiano Ronaldo, Bright, I think they want to build a team around, an experienced player, letting Edison Cavani go. So Cristiano Ronaldo being the mix as well, the likes of, Elanga and a couple of lads, they will bring it from the transfer window as well. We would just have to learn from an experienced player, a good finisher, someone that has been there, someone who knows how to do the job. So it's a massive addition for him as well, Bright.
Right, now let's look at transfer stories very quickly. Flo, you seem to disagree?
No, not disagree in totality. I just feel, a man like Ronaldo at his age, where would he rather go? He would rather, Manchester United is, should I say, like a second home to him. So is it not better he stays there? And he has been a very good addition to that club the last season. So.
All right, now we hear Arsenal have announced that forward Alexander Lacazette will leave the club at the end of his contract on June 30. And sources have already said he'll return to his home club, Lyon. Lacazette is 31, joined Arsenal from Lyon in 2017 and made 206 appearances across all competitions, scoring 71 times. So wrote on Instagram, a farewell message, I'll take just the first paragraph. 5 years ago, my dream came true. Signed for Arsenal. It's been an honor to wear the jersey. To be a part of this family, I won trophies. I met real and nice people. And I fell even more in love with the club. Good luck for the future of the club and the fans. It's been a pleasure. Once a Ghana, always a Ghana. Thank you, Arsenal. That's according to Alexander Lacazette on his Instagram page. Only one more, you could go check it out. A real transfers. I'll begin from here. Mari, Flo, and Solorex do the rest of the rounds. Now, we hear that Tottenham Sports wants 25 million euros for Steven Bergwijn. Now, that's a story. Well, many would consider him, Mari, surplus requirement, looking at the quality of additions and how he fell down the pecking order last season. We're talking about the man Dejan Kulusevski joining from Juventus. Yeah. Now, we're talking about the man Ivan Paris is joining from Inter Milan. Song Heung-min, other options in the flanks and all, well, definitely limits his chances. And if Spurs want to cash in, be no better time than now.
Yeah, of course. He's a youngster. He's still very young, and then he's got some goals in his feet. I think Spurs should actually go out there and get some money on his head. He came in with so much promise, much prospect. Unfortunately, Antonio Conte came in. He's not been able to adapt to the style, to the strategy, and he's been pushed out. Of course, you take a look at the players that have gone ahead of him in the pecking order. You're talking Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Kulusevski has hit the ground running at Tottenham Hotspur, and then Perisic is also coming in, which actually further pushes his chances of playing regular football at Tottenham. So clearly, I think the best option is to leave now, and Tottenham wants to get some money from the deal, which is, for me, it's a good, smart move.
Look at transfer stories. Solorex, Flo, Mario, there was some transfer rounds.
From Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are keen to sign Belgium midfielder Yuri Telemann.
Well, we hear that Manchester United will be offered a chance to sign Marco Asensio this summer.
Barcelona said to turn their attention to Chelsea's forward Romelu Lukaku, who is 29, if they can't sign a first-choice target, Robert Lewandowski.
From the Mirror, Arsenal have made Jesus their targets, although the first competition from Juventus for the former Palmeiras player.
Well, some details to the Pogba-Juventus contract. We hear that he's closing on a return to Juventus. The Serie A giants have offered him a 3-year contract worth £8 million. That's £6.8 million per year, plus bonuses.
Brentford have offered Christian Eriksen a long-term contract and are waiting for a response from the 30-year-old who was on loan with them from January until the end of the season.
From TalkSport, Netherlands defender Nathan Ake has been also told he can leave Man City and could also pave way for a move to Newcastle.
Well, Jose Mourinho could move for Jesse Lingard this summer at the conclusion of his United contract. This is interesting, right?
Leeds United are in talks to sign Red Bull Salvos and Denmark right back Rasmus Christensen, who is 24.
From Football Insider, Tottenham have been offered the chance to sign West Ham Czech Republic midfielder, talking of Thomas Soucek.
Well, Newcastle could reignite their interest in getting Yannick Ferreira Carrasco from Atletico Madrid.
From the Mail, Everton are confident of signing Tarkowski as the Aston Villa lead the rest to chase the centre-back.
All right, so let me take this particular one. We hear that Liverpool are concluding talks to get Serge Gnabry from Bayern Munich, who has turned down a new contract at the Allianz Arena, and Sadio Mane is likely to head to the other direction.
From 90 Minutes, Argentine striker Lautaro Martinez insists he wants to stay at Inter Milan next season.
Promoted Nottingham Forest could move for Southampton's Republic of Ireland under 21 Will Smallbone, who is 22, who will be allowed to go out on loan 2022-2023.
All right, so one more bright Tottenham are tracking Torino defender Glesen Bremer in case they are unable to get Alessandro Bastoni from Inter Milan.
Argentina striker Lautaro Martinez insists he wants to stay at Inter Milan next season despite speculations about a 24-year-old's future.
Right now, according to ESPN, Strasbourg striker Javi Bialy is attracting himself from multiple Premier League clubs after scoring 11 goals in the Ligue 1 last season from 16 starts. 31 appearances in total. That's the ratio of the goal every 140 minutes, which made him the 7th most prolific striker in France, and is attracting interest from the likes of Nottingham Forest, West Ham and Brighton. Bayern Munich midfielder Corentin Tolisso said he's starting to move to Premier League with some targets this particular summer. Among them, who understand are Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester United. We'll continue the transfer rounds after this match, of course. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, Brian. Good afternoon. I'm in Arizona.
Welcome, Talent.
Yeah, this is Talent. Yeah, Brian, let me say something about the Super Eagles coach briefly. I want to say that we should not blame the coach. We should blame the Malupinic lead team, because instead of them to go for grade A coach or grade B, they always go for coach anyhow before. Nigeria will have coach. That is one of the reasons that we are going back. FIFA ranking will come now, Nigeria will fall. As for the transfer, I want to wish my team, Man City, to look for one defensive midfielder and buy. That's my take, brother.
Thank you very much for joining us, Talent. We sincerely appreciate you. Daniel Sturridge, former Liverpool man and Chelsea striker, his last attempt to resurrect his career has ended in disappointment of being released by Perth Glories. 32 joined the Australian club for the 2021-2022 season was released at the end of its contract following yet another injury hit campaign. Welcome, football fan. Your name, your location.
Hello, Bright. Good afternoon.
All right, 30 seconds.
Thank you. Bright, I want to say that the worst thing that will happen to Nigeria is for us to go back to our indigenous schools, especially when people mention the name Ebong and Amunike. The worst thing that happens to Nigeria was for us to lose in a one-leg match after the World Cup. So I think I'm disappointed. So we should not be talking sentimental analysis of football here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you a great deal. Hello, good afternoon, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, good afternoon, Bright.
Welcome.
My name is Ezekiel calling from you.
All right.
Please, I want to know whether Man City has completed the signing of Eric Haaland.
Well, Erling Haaland, just a matter of formality. July 1st should join Manchester City. We hear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Victor, rejoins us now. Welcome.
Hello, Brian.
Yeah, Victor, 25 seconds. Let's go.
Brian, let me say something that let me advise the club of England that if you said you want to be like Man City, be like Chelsea, now is opportunity. So you go to the market and spend the money, give out the best player so that he can compete for anything you want from next. So that's my say. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you very much, football fan, for joining. Your name, your location.
Good afternoon, guys. This is Big Bakaman from Calabar, Virginia. My brother, please, I want you to update me in Barcelona transfer with one who we want to pursue, with one who we want to buy. Please tell that Liverpool supporter whether does he finish to pick around trophies everywhere. So let him continue to pick. We are just Madrid and Barcelona are just for any English team. Let us see who will the next champion league. Hello, ready for us.
Thank you very much for joining. Now, Man City midfielder Bernardo Silva's voice is concerned about the demanding schedule that players are facing. Now, less than a week after helping City win the Premier League title on the final day of the campaign, has Silva, who made 50 appearances for the club across all competitions, has joined up with the Portuguese squad. Well, first up was Kevin De Bruyne talking about the fact that they are players, they're humans, deserve rest. But now, it looks like the complaint is falling on deaf ears because, they've got lots of actions lined out for them after the UEFA Nations League, the start pre-season for the league, and then, return to the Premier League action, and then after the league, take a break, head to the World Cup. When exactly do these players get to rest, recuperate from a long campaign, and just take their minds off football, do something else to return to the game fresh?
Right, you can imagine the story. It's actually very sad. Let's take a practical situation. Say Karim Benzema, for instance, he played 62 games, competitions for Real Madrid just the season that ended, and then he now has to play with the French national team all through, this campaign, and then return with Real Madrid in the Premier League, in the La Liga rather, take a break, go play for the World Cup in Qatar, take a break, return to the La Liga, and it continues like that until May next year. So these players literally have no time to rest, and it's very sad, because we're talking about an age where players are getting cardiac arrest on the pitch of play, players are retiring very early due to fatigue and all of that. It looks like these players are seen as commodities to FIFA and UEFA, and it's very sad. If I was part of that, I'd probably boycott a few of these tournaments because most of them are unnecessary. Like De Bruyne said, the Nations League is clearly unnecessary. It's more like a glorified friendly game. We already have the Euros, we have the World Cup. So what's the UEFA Nations League, and why is that a competition to start with? So I think all of this is just sad because UEFA and FIFA just care about TV rights and how to make money off these boys.
Right now, Barca's new home kit. That's another that has gotten the fans talking, inspired by the 1992 Olympic Games in the city of Barcelona. Well, looks good. Cesar Shola and Pedri Not forgetting Ansu Fati. Well,
Piqué and Gavi as well.
Well, right. That story is actually false. To start. Let's just get into lifestyle a little bit. Shakira was reportedly decided to split with Piqué due to the fact that she caught Piqué cheating, and there was a fake news that it was with Gavi's mom. But Spanish newspaper this morning came out to say that all of the reports are false. That Piqué was not cheating with Shakira with Gavi's mom. But
Mary,
that's the story.
He was cheating.
Mary, how come you speak?
Why slow about the cheating story? No.
Mary keep on, taking the front seat when it comes to relationship and everything.
Well, I'm the man for the lovers.
Well, I think you have to contend with Ifyok Johnson.
Yeah. That man is best in stuff like that.
Thank you very much, guys, joining. Thank you for the week. We'll return later tomorrow in the morning, 7:30 to 8, and back in the afternoon, 12:30 to 4 p.m. Well, guys, it's time. Let's go ball.
Yeah, of course, right. We bowl.
I coach and I ref.
I prefer not to speak.
So I
prefer not to speak.
I hope you're fit.
I trained Isaiah very well this
I'll
morning.
create 17 chances for Sulu. He'll score none.
All right, guys, we're on. Up next is the news updates at 4, and the rest of the programs continue. So stay right here with us, and let's enjoy the weekend together. I am Bryce James. Well, we out.